So Nathan Gorman's next fight will be on December 22nd on the undercard of Frampton Warrington, and it'll be against Alex Leapai. That's right, the same Leapai who fought Klitschko, who Shannon Briggs called a pie. He's fighting pies, he's fighting pie. That Alex Leapai. Leapai is 39 years old. He's got several losses on his record. He actually retired a few years ago after one of his losses, but he came back. I guess he needed some money, and so boxing was the best way that he knew how to get it. Taking on Nathan Gorman, undefeated 14-0 from the UK. I think Nathan Gorman has been pretty impressive so far in his career. A lot of people weren't impressed with his last fight against Sokolovsky. It was actually a rematch. He stopped Sokolovsky first time. Sokolovsky down 3 times. But Sokolovsky has improved a lot since that first fight. I'm telling you, Sokolovsky, even though he's an out-and-out journeyman, he's one of the tougher journeymen, and he's actually one of the more ambitious journeymen out there. Kamil Sokolovsky. If you're not on your game, and you're a young prospect coming up, Sokolovsky's one of them kind of guys who could actually expose you. You know? So, some people weren't impressed. Me personally, I think he did okay. You know, he won the fight comfortably. It's just Sokolovsky's an awkward customer. Nathan Gorman is not an out-and-out puncher. He's not someone that's going to be knocking everybody out. He has a decent amount of power there, but he's more of an all-rounder. He can apply pressure and come forward, but he also likes to box. He does a bunch of different things. One of the interesting statistics here, apart from the fact he's only 22, you know, very young guy, got a whole lifetime ahead of him. One of the interesting statistics is that at 6'3", Nathan Gorman's only got a 73-inch reach. That is a very short reach for somebody that tall. Just to put it in perspective, Muhammad Ali had, I think, a 78-inch reach or 79-inch reach, and he was 6'3". Adonis Stevenson, who is about 5'10", 5'11", has got a 77-inch reach. Tommy Hearns, who was 6'1", has got a 78-inch reach. Putting it in perspective, this is a very short reach for a man who's 6'3", who's 6'3", only 73 inches. Mike Tyson is 5'10", and he's got a 71 or 72-inch reach, so it's a bit longer than Tyson's reach, but not that much. And that's a 5'10" heavyweight. And the reason I say this is because one of the reasons that Nathan Gorman's hands are so fast is because the guy got short arms. That's why. For his height, he's got short arms, and you often find fighters with extremely fast hands, not always, but often, are guys with short arms and fast twitch muscles. If you think Mike Tyson, great example, short arms, you know, even for a guy with that's 5'10", who's black, because black people tend to have, on average, longer arms in proportion to their height than most other races do. That's what you'll usually find with black people. You know, different races have different body configurations, and with black people, you tend to find, on average, they've got longer arms in proportion to their height than other races. Not always. You get some fighters like some black people like Mike Tyson with, you know, short arms for a black guy who's 5'10". Most other black boxers that are 5'10", their arms are going to be longer than 71 inches. You go look at the stats and you'll see that it's true. But what that gave Tyson, with all the fast twitch muscle that he had, those short arms allowed him to move his hands very quickly. He didn't have big cumbersome arms to lug around, you know, big cumbersome heavyweight arms to lug around that would have slowed him down. No, Tyson had these real short arms, compact, full of fast twitch muscle fibers that he could move extremely quickly. Now, Nathan Gorman doesn't look like Mike Tyson physically, but he has a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers too. Don't let his puppy fat deceive you. This is a guy with a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers underneath that fat, and he can move his hands very quickly. And that's one of the most impressive things about Nathan Gorman. Very good combination puncher, moves his hands very quickly. And yeah, impressive. I like what I see so far from Nathan Gorman. Now, his opponent, Leapai, let's have a look at his record here. So he's 32, 7 and 4. Quite unusual to have 4 draws. Some fighters have got more than that, but, generally speaking, it's quite unusual. So 32, 7 and 4. Lost 3 times by stoppage. 39 years of age, from Australia, originally from Samoa. Most famously, he fought Vladimir Klitschko. Klitschko knocked him out in 5. Was down in the 1st and twice in the 5th. It wasn't a competitive fight. And he got that fight off the back of the Boitsov fight, which was an upset, actually. That was a final eliminator, I believe, or some kind of WBO eliminator. Boitsov was quite highly touted, and he needed an opponent to fight in this eliminator because it was looking like Boitsov was going to fight Klitschko. And I think he might have originally been fighting somebody else. I can't remember now, but Leapai wasn't ranked very highly. He was in the WBO top 10 or top 15, but he wasn't in the upper echelons of the top 10 or top 15 from what I can remember. So he was brought in from the bottom of the top 10 or top 15 to fight Boitsov. Maybe the mid, I can't remember now, but he was definitely ranked below Boitsov. And he went in there and he just mauled Boitsov, really. He applied a lot of pressure, he outstrengthed him, and he just used brute force to get the win. And you see there it was a 10-round UD. And that's how he got his opportunity against Klitschko. He was totally outclassed against Klitschko, battered. He showed a lot of heart, but ultimately it wasn't a competitive fight at all. And there's no shame in that. Klitschko did that to a lot of people. But as you see, after the Klitschko fight, he was also beaten by Malik Scott in a one-sided fight. Also lost to Manuel Charr in a pretty one-sided fight. And you might say, well, he was suffering the ill effects from the Klitschko defeat. Well, not really, because you go back to 2012 and he was actually stopped by Kevin Johnson. And this is when Leapai is in his prime and he's getting stopped in 9 rounds by Kevin Johnson. Leapai, at his best in his prime, was never very good. A tough guy, powerful, but slow, easy to hit. Had a decent chin, but nothing particularly amazing. Not an iron-jawed guy at all. Not really much skill there. Just a big, strong guy who balls forward and swings crude punches. This is not a David Tua, for example, who would throw very cultured hooks and uppercuts. Leapai's punches are crude, they're slow, and he leaves himself very open. He makes loads of technical mistakes, doesn't have a defense to speak of, and at 39 years old, I question how much resilience he has left. I also question how much ambition he has left. His last 2 fights he fought against Roger Izomrite. Roger Izomrite, some of you might recognize the name Izomrite. There was a heavyweight in the 1990s, early 2000s called David Izomrite, or David Izon for short. That's how they marketed him in America. They called him David Izon. And he was somebody who fought David Tua. He got knocked out in the last round against David Tua. Roger Izomrite is his brother. And so I've seen Roger Izomrite. He's not very good. He had a technical draw, against Izomrite in 2017. In the rematch against Izomrite, he knocked him out in the 1st round. So he's still knocking people out. But Izomrite is very old. Let me click and find out how old he is. I'm not sure exactly how old, but I know he's very old. 43. I mean, you look at him there with a grey beard. 43 years of age. 6'5". This guy's ancient. So Leapai, who's old himself, knocked out an even older guy in the 1st round in his last fight. The last time he actually had a real fight was against Manuel Charr in 2015. So that's nearly 4 years ago now since he had a real fight. And as I say, in that fight, he lost to UD. So I say all that to say this. Nathan Gorman is a prospect. And at 22 years old, there's no reason to rush. I find this an acceptable learning fight against Alex Leapai. I've got no issue with Nathan Gorman fighting Leapai. but I don't see it as particularly dangerous, to be honest with you. Yes, Leapai can punch, but lots of heavyweights can punch. You know? I'm sure Nathan Gorman has sparred loads of heavyweights who can punch. I'm sure some of the guys he's fought can actually punch. But Leapai is so poor technically. He's old. He's slow. He's very open. I see nothing other than a win by Nathan Gorman. He might have to weather some early swings from Alex Leapai, and he needs to be on his guard, because they say the last thing to go is the punching power, right? So he might need to be on his guard early doors. But ultimately, I just think Nathan Gorman has got way too much for Alex Leapai. And this is not a fight that I see as a 60-40 or, even 70-30. I see this as like a 80-20 in Nathan Gorman's favor. 90-10. Something like that. I see Nathan Gorman as an overwhelming favorite to win this fight. I don't think it's the most dangerous step up. Do you know what I mean? I saw some person on Facebook who was saying this is a really dangerous fight for Nathan Gorman and it's a massive step up. I don't see it as a massive step up. I see it as a decent learning fight against an opponent who's been in at world level. But for the reasons I've already explained, I don't see this as a real big danger. Saying all that, he'll probably get clipped now and knock Nathan Gorman out. I don't think that's going to happen. But it is heavyweight boxing, and you never know. One big swing from Alex Leapai, who is a strong guy, who can bang with the right hand. You never know, but his punches are just so crude. You can see him coming a mile off. I mean, when he beat Boytsov could see Leapai's punches, but Boytsov was just overpowered. He couldn't do anything about it because Leapai was just so strong. But Boytsov was really a natural cruiserweight. He was never really, and by the way, Boytsov, his boxing career is over because he ended up brain damaged, not from a boxing match, but actually because he was attacked in Germany by several men in a street fight, and they beat him unconscious and left him in a coma. And Boytsov, last I heard, was crippled for life. And I don't know if he passed away. Please excuse my ignorance on that. As far as I'm aware, he was still alive. But yeah, crippled for life, and I guess in a very bad way, unfortunately for him and his family. But Boytsov was a natural cruiserweight. So someone like Leapai, who's really a proper solid heavyweight. I mean, you go look at the early part of Leapai's career. Well, to be fair, he did turn pro quite light, 207, but I guess he was pretty young them times, 2004, and he certainly filled out a lot since then. He's been weighing in the mid 230s since, well, I want to say since 2007. He's been weighing in the mid 230s. So we're talking about 11, nearly 12 years he's been weighing in the mid 230s. So he's a solid guy. And when he took on Boytsov was just too small, wasn't used to the strength of someone like Leapai and the aggression. Nathan Gorman, I don't think will be bothered by Leapai's strength. I think he'll be able to deal with him. Whatever Leapai does, Nathan Gorman will have answers. I am expecting an early charge from Leapai, but I think Gorman will deflect the early charge and he'll take Leapai out, I think. If he doesn't take him out, he'll win a wide decision. But I think there's a good chance he'll take Leapai out. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's Satman, I'm out.
Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up There's no contract and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.